profiles for a good fit. But the question is this ethical? Now, Bibiza Human Resource Specialist Saofalang Nakafela joins us in this conversation to really help us understand what exactly it is that we ought to be looking for as applicants and what exactly it is that employers and, of course, immigration officers are also seeking, and where we find a balance and a common ground. Good evening and welcome to BOTSWANA tonight.
Thank you for having me.
We talk about social media screening, and I think those that are active in social media quite often says, be careful about what you type, be careful about what you post, because it might deny you or cost you an opportunity. Let's just talk about the landscape in Botswana and the practice itself of social media screening. How common is it? Does it even exist, or is it imagined?
It exists. I can confirm that, because as a human resource consultant, I also do shortlisting, I do recruitment, I do interviews, and sometimes when we finalize, we are calling to the interview, the employer would say, let us check what they write on social media, because the biggest problem for employers has been the cancel culture. It is us who have started cancelling companies based on how their employees are behaving out there. We blame them for what their employees are doing, and now companies are protecting themselves before an employee can be a risk to their branding.
Okay, it is happening, but to what extent? Are we able to say out of the 10 companies that you represent, X number are really actively looking into social media activities of potential recruits and certainly even of existing employees?
It exists a lot more than we think. It is not only common in, I would say, smaller companies, but the ones that feel like they've been there for a long time, they've built their brand, their name, they're very careful with who they hire. The smaller companies, I think, is an issue of, you know what, we don't pay people that much, we cannot be very choosy. But then for a bigger company, it's a lot of us competing for the salaries and for the benefits, so they are very careful with that.
So what type of content then are we looking at for us to determine if our brand would be at risk if we go with Khomoso, to determine if Khomoso is a right fit, certainly from a culture perspective?
I would say in general, one of the most common things that people look out for is the kind of person you are. There are people who are so unruly, they would be insulting other people on social media. That one cuts across every sector. But then when we go into different sectors, we look at, does your personality, the things you write, do they align with what the companies want from you? I'll give you an example. If you are trying to go into law enforcement, we don't expect you to be very controversial about things that are illegal. We've had a man, I think it was last year, who was under scrutiny because he made a joke about defiling a child. So you'll find that if you are a teacher and you make a joke about defiling a child, and we expect you to be protecting kids most of the hours during the day when they're away from home, then it means you do not align with what the teaching profession stands for. Okay.
Now, we've got a number of social media platforms. Do you go through all of these platforms? Everybody tells us that you've got to be on LinkedIn. That's the platform. That's where employers are looking to certainly post jobs, to certainly recruit. Some of them even headhunt from there. Are we just looking at LinkedIn, or is it social media across?
It is social media across, because the bottom line is LinkedIn is polished. That is where we know that we need to be professional, we need to polish how we look, we need to polish what we talk about. And LinkedIn is not very personal like other Facebook medias. That is why when you want to understand the personality of someone and how they interact and how good or bad are they for your brand, you go to other social media pages, because that is where people are more relaxed, they are more of themselves, not like all the time, but that is where you can get the essence of who someone is.
Okay. Yeah. Now recently, just like in our intro, the US also said, you know what, if you are going to come into our country, we are going to be doing social media a screening to determine the type of individual that you are before we give you a visa. I think to some extent it feeds into what we're talking about, really looking into social social media activities of applicants. Here lies, I think, one of the biggest questions. Is it ethical, though? Is it even legal to be lurking, and I use the word lurking deliberately, into my pages? Do you need to be seeking permission? How does it work?
I know when it started, people felt like it was not fair. They felt like it is wrong. But the bottom line is you are trying to align yourself to someone's brand. You are trying to align yourself to someone's values, what they stand for, what they're trying to achieve, what they want the world to see them as. So if you want to be a part of my world, are you willing to fit into my world? Or you want me to change my world to fit you into it? So that is the bigger question. You want to be a part of my world, you want to align with my company. The question is, do you align with what I stand for? That is where it emanates from. Because we have seen whereby employees don't align with the companies, and the companies, they get the scrutiny. They're the ones who pay for the fact that they took someone who did not align with what they stood for. Okay.
Yeah. Now, quite often when you do checks with referees, you would say to people, we've reached this particular stage, we will be speaking to your referees. And I've seen organizations do that. With social media screening, do you do that? Do you say, okay, we've reached a particular point, now we're going to be lacking? And what is the difference? Because I'm just thinking both of them are background check. Why do we say we're going to talk to your people, but with social media we just do it?
I think with social media, if I'm going to warn you that I'm going to be checking, I'm giving you time to clean up things that I might see that might matter to how I'm recruiting. So the moment we warn you, you're going to run and clean everything up. And then we don't get what we wanted to see.
But I think what I'm trying to get at is, even with referees, we know instances where people would say, write it how you want me to write it, and I'll just sign. So even with referees, the people you pick are the people that speak nicely and kindly of you. Yeah. So you sort of curated. So what is the difference here? I think that's where I'm trying to get it.
I think with the referees, the reason why now people go to social media is because they have also realized that the referencing is now getting very polished. Like, we get our friends, people we were okay with to write for us. We also understand that sometimes you write someone, but they have issues with you did not know. By the time you call them, they say bad things about you, but you trusted them. So that is why the social media referencing came in. You are trying to create a neutralized, environment. Get a bit of a balance, because it's either someone speaks for you or they don't speak for you, depending on how you related with them. So we will rather catch you as yourself, as who you are, so that we get the essence of the kind of person you are.
Earlier on, you brought a question, the question of fairness, and as HR, you represent the client, but similarly you represent me as an employee. Where do we strike the balance, either from a fairness perspective, from an ethical perspective, to a legality a perspective, and where and how can we strike a balance?
The challenge with being HR is that you have to represent what the organization wants. You have to also make sure you protect the employee. At the same time, you also need to ensure that the organization operates within the legal frameworks of the country, even the labor laws. So it's always an issue of seeing if everything that is happening is balancing all these things. Okay. So that's what we do. Even if the company says, let's say, for example, they say, you know what, we don't want men are like 1, 2, 3. We make sure we talk to them about discriminating. If a company maybe only hires men, we make sure that we talk to them about, creating a balance. We need to see women there, we need to see people with disabilities there. So it's an ongoing conversation to always make sure that things are balanced. Okay. Yeah.
Now, when we do the social media screening, there is, is it a cultural fit? Can they represent our brand well? But don't we also run the risk of either discrimination? You just mentioned the variables there, or of people personalizing issues as opposed to really using the screening for the right purposes?
I would say, as long as we are human beings, there is always that room for human error. No matter what methods you choose and how fair you try to be. There are situations whereby the human factor will always be there. That is why nowadays companies are even moving to blind hiring, whereby we hire you and have not seen your face. Because sometimes I'm going to go through your social media and then I realize that this is going to be the most beautiful person in the company, and it makes me mad, and I make sure you don't get in. So there will always be human error.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, moving forward, what do we then say to applicants, those that are seeking jobs, those that are seeking to go to other countries in terms of social media usage?
I would say it's okay to enjoy your freedom, express yourself, but be mindful of where you want your life to go. Be mindful of what you want to be in future. Be mindful of your profession, what the ethics of your professions are, the values. Be mindful of those so that you make sure, even though you're enjoying your freedom, you're also ensuring that you are creating a path that will favor you, because some of these things will haunt you in 10 years time, maybe not now, but maybe in 10 years time. So enjoy your freedom, but be mindful of where you're going.
So what happens if I haven't been mindful and I'm watching this and I'm thinking I have to delete my page?
You don't necessarily have to delete. Just go back and clean everything that you see that does not align with where you want to go with your career.
But isn't that a red flag then? If you realize that something has happened here, somebody has done a cleanup here, isn't that a red flag?
You know, there are times whereby we accept that maybe growth has happened, because people grow. You can start in social media, you are very immature, and then you realize how harmful it is. And then you grow as a person, and then you mature as a person, and you clean up yourself. So it's not always a red flag. Sometimes, I always take it as someone who is growing, who is now aware of how much damage they can do to themselves and to the company. So it's not so bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then those that would have two separate accounts, what they would say, here is where I am professional, and then this is my playground. What is the advice to them?
That is why people create pseudo accounts. If you feel like your playground can affect where you're going, at least have a pseudo account. Let it not show who you are. I'm not encouraging that, because people with pseudo accounts are bullying people. But as long as you know you're trying to align to people's brands, your freedom is limited. Okay. Yeah.
Now, again, I want us to come to the Botswana context and our use of social media. You mentioned how we use social media to bully others. Really, when I don't hire somebody because they tweeted that one time about something that they felt passionately about and is interpreted as bullying, is that enough to say this person is not a fit?
The issue with our Botswana context is, I always tell people that, you know, in Botswana, we have a lot of unemployed, very qualified people. So anything that will set you aside will set you aside. It will be you with someone who has never tweeted anything passionately out there. You both qualify for the job. You both have the experience I need. That will be the one thing that takes you out.
Just one tweet. That's can we just say, okay, this person's body of work, and on this particular time they just had a meltdown?
Exactly. What if you have a meltdown during company time?
Okay, thank you so much. We were talking to Zorofalang Narafela. She is a human resource specialist from Bibiza, really speaking to us about how it is important for us to make sure that we are responsible with our social media usage, because that one-time meltdown could cost you a job, could cost you a scholarship when you are meant to migrate somewhere, and suddenly you can't because we found that just one tweet or that one post on Facebook. Up next is Benson Putero with the news at 7 o'clock.
Kudwa ka Mathangwane, kudwa ka Tutume, ku Gantsi, ku Maung, and indeed ku Gaborone. We are behind you, the mass.